Well, friends, good morning. Jagendra Rana here. So, taking up the product today, regulatory aspects of solvency margin and investments. Regulatory aspects of solvency margin and investments. So today I will see how an insurance company sets aside funds for claims that may arise in future and how reserve fund money is invested to maximize returns. Different type of reserves maintained by insurance companies are there. Technical reserve means the reserves, the assets that an insurance company maintains to meet future claims or losses. So technical reserves required can be classified as reserves for unexpired risk, reserves for incurred but unreported claims, reserves for outstanding claims, and fluctuation reserves. So type of these technical reserves includes premium reserves and claim reserves. Now premium reserves again includes unearned premium reserves. Since all the policies do not renew at the same time and do not end exactly at the close of the financial year, there will be some amount of premium that is unearned at the time the accounts need to be finalized. So for that there is unearned premium reserve. Then unexpired risk reserve. If an insurer wrote premium during a year, which in retrospect are considered to be inadequate because of, say, a soft market, a reserve may be set up for the shortfall. These are the premium reserves. Then comes the claim reserves. So claim reserves include outstanding claim reserve. This represents the money put aside for paying claims on business that has been written, whether or not these claims have been reported to the insurer. Then open claim reserve. Those reserves that have been reported, entered onto the system, and a formal reserve has been input for each one. Third one is IBNR reserve. Every insurer will have claims that for some reason or other have not yet been reported and the insurer does not know about them. So claims that have been incurred but not reported are called IBNR. Then claims equalization reserve. In some countries, insurers are permitted to set up a reserve to smooth the overall result. In years when claim experience has been favorable, an amount is put into a reserve from where it can be withdrawn in poor years. So that will be covered up by claim equalization reserve. Other claim-related reserves include insurers create a special reserve for a particular class or business to be drawn upon in the event of catastrophe such as an earthquake, flood, conflagration, etc. So insurers create an investment reserve to provide for losses on their investment due to economic conditions, reserves for bad debt, and reserves for taxes. So, what is the reserving process followed by insurance companies? So in the modern market, the estimate is to be input by a claims handler into the system. A smaller claim, simple risk, for example, motor health, etc., figure to be input if there is no obvious accurate figure already, is likely to be based on an average figure from past experience, but then with issues such as inflation built in to make it as realistic and up-to-date figure as possible. So larger and more complex claim. For larger and more complex claims, this will be controlled by a more experienced handler, and by gauging the claim circumstances and using their own experience, they should be able to make a subjective judgment on the estimate. But the claim professionals and actuaries have to bring the data together, break down into practical subclasses, review and refine it, build in provision for IBNR, and construct auditable reserves. So there are three aspects to bear in mind as regards the selection of subclasses. They should be as homogeneous as possible so that the data can be as reliable as possible. Then not be too big, as it will give the underwriters difficulty in premium setting. And then not be too small, or the law of large numbers will not apply. That is, statistical variance will be large. So what are the challenges? A significant issue is that the building in the IBNR and the reported claims development into the subclasses reserves. One approach is to look at the past claim experience in the subclass and apply it to the data and then project into the future. There are limitations in a challenging business environment and long tail classes. Whether there is little relevant applicable claim experience, for example, in new and emerging risks. So it must be emphasized that there are only mechanical calculations and do not take into consideration the fundamental changes that might be happening to the drivers of the claim. What are these fundamental changes? So fundamental changes can be inflation rate, rebuilding cost, legal framework, court awards, medical cost, etc. So there is a checklist for reserves, and checklist says what historical data are available to the reservoir and how far can confidence be placed in its reliability. Then to what extent is homogeneity of the group in the risk is the risk and classification set respective. So what conclusions have shaped the past experience and what significant changes can be detected or deduced which may affect the future turnout. And the last one is what methods of projection are proposed and are these properly suited under the given circumstances. So the premium investment strategies followed by insurance companies includes globally, insurers invest in fundamentally different ways, although the guiding principles are the same. That is modern portfolio theory and asset liability management. Modern portfolio theory says fundamental concept behind MPT, modern portfolio theory, is that the assets in an investment portfolio should not be selected individually, each in their own merits. Rather, it is important to consider how each asset changes in price relative to how every other assets in the portfolio changes in price. And the asset liability management. This asset liability management basically refers to the process by which an institution manages its balance sheet in order to allow for alternative interest rate and liquidity scenarios. So banks and other financial institutions provide services which expose them to various kinds of risk like credit risk, interest risk, and liquidity risk. So asset liability management is an approach that provides institutions with protection that makes such risk acceptable. Now, as far as Indian regulations are concerned, insurance premium investment structure is laid down under the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority Investment Regulations 2004. This says that the central government security is being not less than the percentage investment should be 20%. Government securities and other guaranteed security including above being not less than 30%. Housing and loans to state government for housing and firefighting equipment being not less than 5%. Investment in approved investments as specified in Schedule 2 that include infrastructure and social sector means for the purpose of this requirement, infrastructure and social sector shall have the meaning as given in Regulation 2H of Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority, Registration of Indian Insurance Companies Regulations 2000, and as defined in the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority Obligations of Insurers to Rural and Social Sector Regulations 2000 respectively. It should not be less than 10%. Others to be governed by exposures, prudential norms specified in Regulation 5, not exceeding 30%. Other than in approved investments to be governed by exposures or prudential norms specified in Regulation 5, not exceeding 25%. So that means insurance accounting basics are similar to basics of other forms of accounting. General accounting items such as balance sheet, receipts and payment account, cash flow statement, and profit and loss account, etc., will be in line with the accounting standards issued by the ICAI to the extent applicable to insurers carrying on general insurance business, with 3 exceptions: cash flow statements to be prepared only under direct method, accounting for investment is not applicable, segment reporting applies to all insurers. Premium is to be recognized as income over the contract period or the period of risk. Premium received in advance not relating to the current accounting period to be disclosed separately under the head current liabilities. Acquisition cost to be placed in the period in which they are required or incurred. Comprises claims under policies and specific claim settlements. Then detailed procedure has been prescribed for determining value of various investments such as real estate, investment property, debt securities, equity securities and derivative instruments that are traded in active markets, utilized and other than actively traded equity securities and derivative instruments, or loans are measured at historical cost. Catastrophe reserve has to be created in accordance with the norms if any prescribed by the authority. Accounting modules, the basic insurance functions including accounts are carried on at the operating office of the general insurance company with the reliance now in most companies on IT system except for preparation of general vouchers and few other emerging transactions. All other transactions input to the system can be system generated. Important accounting functions in a general insurance company are related to premium accounting, commission, brokerage accounting, claims accounting, accounting of expenses of management, co-insurance accounting, reinsurance accounting, investment accounting, and accounting of foreign operations. So the scenario where the insurance system comes to the rescue is when someone dies and leaves the family without proper income. When fire or flood destroys one's shop, merchandise, or factory, depriving him of his livelihood. When earthquake or fire destroy a house and its contents, causing great financial help. When someone falls sick and the family is forced to part with its lifetime saving for treatment. The scope of insurance regulations includes orderly growth of long-term business like life insurance, annuities, and pension products. Orderly growth of short-term businesses like automobiles, buildings, household items, travel days, ships, and shipments. So why there are regulations? It creates a proper legal environment to ensure that policyholder is protected, and when it comes to insurer after a loss, his contractual rights are protected. So the areas where regulations mainly focus upon licensing, the regulatory process starts from issuance of licenses. The minimum capital requirement for starting life insurance business in India is 100 crore. Management of funds, regulators try to ensure that insurer don't misuse public funds. Maintaining financial solvency measures whether the insurance company can settle all the claims and still continue to be in business. Standardization of insurance products. Insurance regulators professionally evaluate services to ensure standardization of insurance products. Pricing of insurance products. To ensure that insurance products are priced on proper technical and business factors, effective regulation is needed. Creating a level playing field. Norms are laid down for ensuring policyholders' protection and maintaining ethical standards. Then monitoring reinsurance. Regulations in many countries try to retain maximum premium within the country. So the insurance regulatory system of few countries. Some well-known insurance regulators are International Association of Insurance Supervisors, IAIS, Financial Services Authority, FSA of UK, National Association of Insurance Commissioners, NAIC, the apex body of the 50 state-level regulators of USA, Australian Prudential Regulatory Authority, APRA, Financial Services Authority, FSA of Japan, Bank Nagara, Malaysia, BNM, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, Thank you very much.